We're back.
Thank you, Mr. Conaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this morning. We don't know much about the rebels. I wonder what we do know about Gaddafi's advisors. Do we have any intelligence as to who his military advisors are and what their current status might be as to remaining loyal to him? It seems like the best way for him to come out of power if somebody close to him takes that into their own hands. Do any intelligence to that effect?
I think we do have information about some of those in his inner circle, but in terms of their intentions, I think we don't have much. What we do have is the evidence of one of his intimates, his foreign minister, defecting yesterday, right. which was somebody very much in his inner circle, and so frankly an encouraging sign.
You said several times that there are other entities around the world that are capable of training and equipping Gaddafi's rebel forces. I suspect the rebel forces just really want the equip part, not necessarily about the training part, because that would require boots on the ground to do that. Comments this morning in the press about at least one attempt to fire an RPG, and they had it pointed the wrong direction, and so apparently a lot of training needs to go on with what they get. Since we don't know who the rebels are, and you don't really want to give weapons to folks that might misuse them somewhere else, if someone else decided to arm these rebels, what would our position be with respect to that?
Well, we really haven't.
What if it was Al-Qaeda decided to whistle in there and arm these guys?
Well, we would clearly have a problem with that. But if I mean, I honestly don't know the answer to the question.
Well, personally, I think arming those guys is a bad idea, but because we don't know who they are. We're doing it under this rubric of protecting civilians. Wouldn't we need to arm every single civilian in order to do that, to protect all the civilians?
I don't know.
I don't know. Not to put a too fine a line on this boots on the ground thing. We've had boots on the ground in Libya. We had those two pilots that came out of the air, and the search and rescue mission that is a part of the unique capabilities. So we will have folks on the ground in Libya from time, if necessary, in order to fulfill those missions. Is that correct?
Only for a search and rescue mission.
But they'll be there in harm's way to do that?
Very briefly.
Okay. Ramola and I hate saying these kinds of things, but you made a brag earlier about the way the coalition was put together, the international community, the Arab League, and went quite extensive in that brag. It's odd that we didn't have the time to solicit Congress's intervention or help in that regard, and again, that's just folks on this side of the table whining about the process, but you did say that, and I wanted to push back on that just a little bit. 40 years of a dictatorship doesn't create in place the kind of civilian mechanisms for running a country. If Gaddafi does come out of power, tribal nature of the communities, what do you envision that process looking like, since there is no organized military leadership in place and there doesn't appear to be anyone we know of on the civilian side? What really are the prospects for a Libya emerging from this regime change in anything that's remotely orderly?
Well, I think that there are several alternative outcomes. One is that somebody from his military takes him out and then cuts a deal with the opposition. So that would be one scenario. Another scenario would be the tribes abandon him and then cut their own deals with each other. Another alternative would be clearly our preferred option, which would be that these opposition forces and the tribes come together and begin to create something that resembles a more democratic state that protects the rights of its people. So there are a number of different possible outcomes.
Do you see what would be our involvement under any of those scenarios?
Well, I think our involvement, if asked, would probably be the most likely under one in which they were moving toward a more democratic government.
Do we have any kind of a criteria?
We don't really have any influence or particular sway with the tribes, as an example.
I understand that. Have we put any kind of a metric in place as to decide, assuming some government does emerge, which ones we will, which would support versus which one we would not?
No, we haven't gone that far yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back.
Thank you, Mrs. Castor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for being here this morning. I'd like you to give us an inventory of